Hello friends, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Brendan and I'm a recovering accountant. Today we're going to look at New Year's resolutions, fundamentally why they will fail and how you can have the best possible chance of succeeding as we head into 2021, probably because we're all happy to see the back of 2020. But first, I'm going to start with the conclusion. If that's all you're here for, then this is for you. You will fail at your New Year's resolution because you will try to do everything at once. You have these grand plans. You want to make 2021 the best and most productive year that you've had, so you start off with a long list. I hope you've written them already, and you start to work your way through them. Days 1 and 2, you start out really well. Days 4 and 5, you realise that actually life gets in the way. And day 6, you've let some of your resolutions go already. And unfortunately, I won't be surprised. So what can you do about it? This is for you. Don't do everything at once. Start slowly and build momentum. If you try and do everything at once, you're on a one-way ticket to a world of failure. So that's it. If you're here just for the conclusion, there you go. But for the rest of you, let's dive in. Fundamentally, why do New Year's resolutions fail? One of the simplest answers is you're treating a marathon like a sprint. If you are training to do the London Marathon here in London, it's 26.2 miles. You cannot set out at the pace that you would run the 100-meter sprint. Fundamentally, that's what most people do when it comes to resolutions. You start out in week 1 of 52 at great pace, with great gusto and enthusiasm, and then quickly realise that at the end of week 1 and as you head into week 2, life's hard. These resolutions, my word, I've got to try and read another book next week, or I've got to try and go to the gym 3 times next week, and it's like, oh my word, I might have bitten off more than I can chew. If you set out at the right pace, knowing that you're in for the long game, I promise you, it will make life much easier, and mentally you'll be in the right place, which is fundamentally what we're trying to do. You might also start to put the cart before the horse. Sounds like a strange phrase, but think about it for a moment. If nutrition and improving your health and fitness is one of your resolutions this year, the chances are you're going to be looking at taking supplements. Whey protein, for example. It's an easy way to get your protein in for the day, but also it is the equivalent of putting the cart before the horse if you're taking protein supplements but you have a really crappy diet. I won't get into the whys and wherefores around energy balance and the pyramid. Fundamentally, if you don't have your macronutrients sorted, so your fats, carbs and proteins, really the supplementation you make is just like trying to throw jelly at the wall. Some of it might stick, some of it might not, but really that's putting the cart before the horse rather than saying putting the horse before the cart. So let's get energy balance and get your carbohydrates, fats and proteins sorted, and then look at supplementation. One to think about. One of the other reasons you might fail is there's too much thinking and, quite frankly, not enough doing. As Elvis was quoted as saying in the remix, a little less conversation, a little more action is probably quite apt, and fundamentally you can have the world's greatest resolutions if they're only written on the paper, but if you don't actually take action, you're never really going to make any progress. That again is a harsh but true lesson, and fundamentally you would be better off thinking less and doing more. There you go. Why do you fail? Have you tracked your progress? Do you actually know how you're getting on? I come at it from the data world, and we have a phrase that says what gets measured gets managed, and that's actually quite true in this stage. If you cannot understand exactly what's happening, and you could do it from a nutrition perspective, and we talk about tracking your food in things like MyFitnessPal and in your food diaries, by properly understanding exactly what's happening, you can then make changes to make things better. But if you don't really understand what's happening at the moment, or you're going on a bit of guesswork, you will only ever get broad brush results. You might be lucky, chances are you won't. One of the big reasons why resolutions fail is because people know what they want to do, but their why is not strong enough. Fundamentally, your resolution will get tough. You will struggle for motivation at times, and quite frankly, you might want to give up. If you have a strong why, it's far easier to keep going. Why is it important to you? What's important to me probably isn't important to you, so it's got to be specific for you. If you want to get fit and lean and healthy because you've got a summer holiday coming, let's hope that we can actually all travel over the summer of 2021, then that's strong, that's for you. That will get you up in the mornings when it's cold and dark and wet outside and you have to go for a run or exercise or do your daily movement. If you don't have a strong why, I promise you, when the tough gets going, you will just give up and you will probably kick yourself when we come around to this time next year and you haven't finished your resolution. Don't blame me, I just work here. So if that's the reasons why you could fail, how do we go about giving yourself the best possible chance to succeed? Okay, so making resolutions is actually half the battle along with execution. But to begin with, are you keeping a diary of your resolutions? It's easy to write a list at the beginning of the year and say, this is what I'm going to do. But actually writing a diary and capturing your progress is hugely important. There's a reason why people have their goals and their ambitions written down so that they can see them time and time again. And that's reaffirming all the time you see it, why you're doing this, how are you getting on, what's happening, what's changed, how much progress you make. The act of writing it down triggers the thought processes in your mind of going, okay, this is what's happening. As you get into February, March, April, as the year begins to progress, seeing where you've come from and where you're going and the efforts that you've put in, I promise you, will make a big difference when you come to the end of the year and you see how much progress you've made. One of the best ways to give yourself a great chance of succeeding in the resolutions is to make them with somebody else. That somebody else fundamentally is going to keep you accountable. It could be your other half, your partner, your mum, your dad, your brother, your sister, your best friend. It doesn't really matter. What matters is that you make yourself accountable. Because think about it, if you agree to go to the gym 3 times next week and all of a sudden you have a check-in on a Friday evening and you think, I haven't done it this week. I'm going to have to tell so-and-so that I didn't make it. How does that make you feel? Are you comfortable with just saying, nah, didn't make it? Or does it catch you here? Does it play on your why? Because your why means a lot to you, so therefore you need to make the effort. This is what helps. It's all these little things that say, okay, don't try and do it on your own. Do it with somebody. And thirdly, rank your resolutions from most important to least important. We all love a good list, so why not list them out from most to least important? Then, once you've got them listed out, that one that is most important to you should be your focus. If you only achieve one in the forthcoming year, make sure it's that one. Because you have just listed out, and you will tell me, or you will tell your accountability buddy, why it's important and why you're going to do it. Now, they can't all be first, and they can't all be last. So it might take a little bit of analysis and a little bit of thinking around which one is most important to you. Do you want to give up smoking? Do you want to get fit? Do you want to learn a new language? Do you want to play the guitar? Do you want to start drawing? I don't really know. But the point is they can't all be first and you need to be able to rank them. I promise you that will help you as you go through the forthcoming year in dealing with your resolutions. Brilliant, right. So we've made them and we've listed them out and we've got them ranked from most to least important. How do we go about executing? This one is easy to say, but tough to do. You need to keep an honest tab. What am I doing with my hand? This is very Donald Trump. You need to keep an honest tab on your progress. You need to be really, really objective with how you're getting on. I can think about it from a food diary perspective. When I was going through a transformation, it's easy to say, I'll just cut out that extra tablespoon of peanut butter. Actually, I bloody love peanut butter. Different example. Let's ignore the extra packet of crisps I had. You know, it was a small packet, it doesn't matter. If you're having those extra little things and you're ignoring them, are you being true to yourself? No. It's those little things that unfortunately can make quite a big difference. So as you monitor your progress on your resolutions, as you go through the forthcoming weeks and months, be honest. If you cannot be honest with yourself, how do you expect to make any progress? I've seen it many times when it comes to fitness transformations. People track their food in the diaries and we sit down and we talk about it. And you say, is this true? You had a calorie deficit every day for the last month, but you haven't lost any weight. Yeah. Well, that's bullshit. I'm sorry. You cannot be in a calorie deficit if you are capturing all the food that you're having and you're exercising and you're not losing weight. It's against science. Unfortunately, 9 times out of 10, it's because not all the food is being captured. I would hate to say that a client is lying, but what's the alternative? So be honest with yourself. The more honest you can be, the greater the results you will get. I promise you. Make sure that you check in and evaluate yourself against your resolution each quarter. Each quarter sounds quite formal, doesn't it? So every 3 months. That sounds a bit more palatable. Each quarter you will sit down and you will compare exactly where you are to your resolution that you started with, and you'll see how you're getting on. Like I said at the beginning, what gets measured gets managed. So how are you progressing? If you're aiming to improve things over a year, are you 3/12 of the way through in terms of improving, or do you have a bit more to do? Are you ahead of schedule? God, that would be good, wouldn't it? But if you don't understand and don't take a moment to see where you are, you will never get the full benefits of the realization of your resolution when you achieve it. So just take time, and it could be every month or every 3 months or whatever the cadence is that works for you. But just take a moment to sit back and say, how am I getting on? You might actually surprise yourself. Wouldn't that be a great thing? And finally, choose an accountability method. So I referred earlier to having an accountability buddy or making a resolution with a friend or family or colleague or somebody that will support you. But the accountability piece can either be carrot, i.e. you will reward yourself if you do something well, or it'll be stick and you have to do something you don't really want to do if you don't make it. A fun example that I heard recently is for every time that somebody didn't go to the gym 3 times that week, they would have to pay £5 to a charity that they didn't like. Well, that's a bit extreme, and it could get into all sorts of interesting conversations. Spend 15 quid each week to a charity that you don't like, then that's going to add up pretty quickly. It could be the stick that you need to help make that a habit. Who knows? But it's a great way to start. Conversely, if it's a carrot piece in terms of saying, well, you know what, if you manage to go to the gym 3 times for the next 3 weeks, and at the end of that you can take yourself out to dinner and you can have a drink with a friend, brilliant. Is that the motivation you need? Whatever it is, it needs to be relevant for you. Do you respond better to somebody giving you a clap, or is it a softly, come on, you can do this, how about this, wouldn't you like it if you could have a glass of bubbly at the end of it? Who knows? And they are the 3 best ways to execute on your resolutions. But in conclusion, all of that becomes superfluous, great word, if you try and do everything at once. As I mentioned in the introduction, the single biggest reasons why resolutions fail is because everybody tries to do it at once. Prime example, you want to get fit in the new year. So you cut out carbs, you go to gym 4 times a week, you decide to have a high protein diet, you want to walk 15,000 steps, you want to get 8 hours sleep, you want to start lifting more, so you buy all the kit. Okay, week 1, all of that goes well. Week 2, work gets in the way, you don't quite make your 15,000 steps. Okay, so that's not so bad. Week 3, actually life's also got in the way and I'm only going to make it twice in that week. Also, you get invited out for dinner, put COVID to one side, and you have carbs. And then you start beating yourself up and you think, oh shit, I've had carbs, I've just thrown that resolution out. Actually, sod it, I'm out. That resolution's done. I'm just gonna get straight back in to where I was before. Why? Because you did everything all at once. Don't do it. Why not start out slowly and build momentum? How about week 1, go to the gym twice. That's it. Quick tip, give yourself a score out of 10. The likelihood of you being able to do this first part of the resolution. If it's lower than a 7, too difficult. Make it easier. Can you make it to the gym twice next week? Yes. How confident are you doing it? 8. Good. Go and do it. Okay, so then you do that for 2 weeks. You get into the habit. Then the following week, week 3, you start to introduce some protein. You have protein with every meal. Breakfast can be done. Okay, so 6 weeks in, you've started getting used to going to the gym and you started eating protein with every meal. My word, I promise you, you are on the right track to making a great step forward in your fitness journey. What you didn't do is start with great gusto, sprint in the marathon, burn out 400 meters up the road, and then think sod it, because it won't work. And I promise you, you'll be rewatching this video thinking, why can't I fulfill my resolutions? I've just told you why. It's because you've done everything once and you didn't listen. Anyway, I'm not going to labour the point, because as we head into 2021 and there's a bit of optimism and hope that life will get back to a little bit of normality. I'm currently in London in tier 4, so it's pretty much locked down. It is a great chance to invest in yourself, to give yourself just that little bit of TLC. Don't beat yourself up. Just take stock, take a moment, think about what you want to do over the next 12 months, and then go and do it. Follow these steps that I've given you, and I promise you, you will be in a great place as you come to the end of 2021. With that, I'm going to say thank you as always. If you did find this useful, please do nudge the like button, or I think as they say, smash the like button, although that sounds bloody stupid. Also, do subscribe if you like this, because if the bell goes, then that means you just get the content the moment it's released, and I would really appreciate it if you would write a comment and let me know whether these were helpful or not. How are your New Year's resolutions going? What are they? Please do write in the comments below, and I will respond to those, and I might even let you know what mine are. But with that, I will wish you a great day, and I will see you in the next video.